Good morning, afternoon, or evening, GBA fans. My name is Gym Leader Geo, your GBA analyst for the preseason coach interviews. We are coming back with our brand new guest, Frosted, coach of the Copenhagen Sawsbucks. Welcome, Frosted.
Hey, Geo. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. Okay, so I understand that you also have assistant coach this season for your team. Could you introduce your assistant coach who you've selected for the season?
Yes, it's my usual Vepsis, who's been playing for quite a few years.
Wonderful, wonderful. And of course, with these interviews, we're only starting with just the main coaches today, but we may have something planned in the future. We will find out. So, GBA being the first league that I've at least heard of that kind of implemented assistant coaches as an official thing, not just on the side. We always had front offices. That's always kind of been on the march. But now that it's a whole new dynamic to the way the league prepares, communicates, battles, etc. Tell me, how are you feeling about working with this assistant coach?
I mean, again, I've been working with them for half a decade, so I'm really excited to it, especially now that he also gets to play a little bit of a bigger role than he has in the past. So it's going to be good.
I think that's a huge advantage too, when you really have that dynamic down with someone already. I know lots of coaches probably do, but I'm sure there are some out there who may be less familiar with their assistant coach, or like, hey, maybe we could do this together, as opposed to someone with, half a decade of history together.
Exactly. We know each other's play styles pretty well and thought processes, so it's going to be good.
That's right. And do you guys have a plan for how you're going to do this interaction? I'm sure it's probably similar to what you've done in the past, but laying things out as far as like how you game plan, how you team build. What's the role that your assistant coach is going to kind of play in all of this?
I mean, he is a big role for it all, because we talk about the upcoming matchup, what works into it, what doesn't. We build the teams together, test them together, and try and plan how do I go into this game.
Perfect. Okay, let's learn a little bit about you here. So GBA, as we know, been on hiatus for a few years now. Lots of new coaches rounding out the roster this season. So I want to know, and I think the fans want to know, what brought you to the GBA for this triumphant return? Why'd you choose the GBA?
Well, first of all, the GBA chose me. So no, but I was pretty excited about first of all, just Draft League coming back with the 60-minute timer, of course, and just getting a little bit of a revival made me also very excited to play, and with the new game coming out and everything. Yeah. And just people being excited again. So I wanted to dip my feet in, and the opportunity came, so I took it.
That's right. Perfect. Yeah. And for those of the fans who might just be meeting you for the first time, could you tell us a little bit about your Draft League experience prior to this season of the GBA?
Yes, I've been playing for half a decade on and off, and been in some different leagues, smaller leagues, so pretty used to getting my toes a little bit wet in it.
Perfect. And what are you most excited about for this season specifically?
I mean, literally just all of it, and just playing again and having fun with it again.
Perfect. Looking at the roster that we got here, lots of big names, lots of new names to the GBA specifically, kind of rounding out the rosters and all that. Is there anyone here that you'd consider maybe a rival, or someone that you're nervous to play, excited to play? Let's break down some of these dynamics of your opponents for the season.
I mean, nervous and excited to play all of them, of course. Someone like TheUzigunner is a very good player, and I haven't played him a lot in the past, and he had a big pause. UnderTheRadar is probably the closest I have to a rival, so it would be nice to kind of, kick his behind a bit.
There you go. Love that. Okay. So for the fans, tons of coaches, tons of assistant coaches in this league for whom these fans might have some affiliation, some knowledge of, and maybe some not. If they're looking for new people to root for, what is it that's your speciality? What do you bring unique to the table for why fans should choose you? Why should people be following Copenhagen Sawsbucks?
That is a very good question. You'll probably not find anyone who can go from absolutely brilliant to has never played this game before than I have. It can happen in 0.2 seconds, so that's something we have especially.
The full gamut of emotions, Frost.
Yeah.
Start to finish.
Yeah.
I love that.
Your heart will go up sometimes, your heart rate, so yeah. And also just some interesting sets. Like we've built some pretty fun things in the past.
Love it.
Also a little bit of EDC content afterwards if people like that.
All right, I got another one for you. This is a hard hitter. You ready?
Oh no.
You've been in the competitive battle scene for years, so you've seen the rise and fall, plenty of different mechanics that Pokemon has added, and then the Pokemon Company has added. Mega Evolutions, Giga Maxing, Z moves, Terrestrialization, all of these things. Obviously, they each kind of present a new challenge for a healthy meta in their own right. But then when we apply draft league rulings to these things too, to kind of like balance things out, it changes the dynamic again. So I'd be really curious to hear your thoughts. What do you think about the current meta itself, and how does that play into the meta we're trying to build together in the draft league format? What are your thoughts?
I mean, I'll admit I haven't played singles at all this generation, so I don't really have anything to kind of refer to, but I know Terrestrialization, it can obviously be very difficult. I know, like, from VGC, playing close team shields is not very fun these days. Yeah. So I think, like, just having the rule set that kind of tries to balance it and, like, give yourself, opportunity to use it, but still, keeping it down a little bit with how many types you can Terra into and make it a little bit more predictable is kind of a good thing.
I like that. Yeah, limiting so that we get to see and access all of the uniqueness that the meta can bring, but without letting it dominate everything. I like that. Great point. And what would you say, looking at the upcoming draft, what are your thoughts on the way we're trying to introduce the new mechanics of auctioning mixed with the budget system and all that? Tell me a little bit about your thoughts about the drafting process.
It was really fun to try the auction because it's so very different from anything we've done in the past. And it's kind of a whole lot of strategy you suddenly have to use, and things go a lot quicker, and you have to be a lot more on your toes. And also just the fact that you can't just sit back and lean back and say, okay, I'll wait until this pick comes. And, actually having to plan a little bit and try and be a little bit strategic in something that we haven't tried before. And then trying to patch up the team afterwards with a regular snake draft.
That's right. Okay, and let me ask you this one. Looking at the way you've drafted in the past, the way you're going to continue to draft in the future, is there anything the fans might want to know about how you look at, for example, the snake draft system? Are you the type of person who likes to go all in on a specific type? Do you like to try and round out cores first? Are you looking for threats and then you'll balance things out later? What are your thoughts on how to build? If you had any advice for viewers today about how you strategize going into a draft, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and I think I also, I don't know if I'm the best to answer that, because my drafts aren't always that logical, that I always have a plan. Like, sometimes it's just literally, oh, I want to use these two specific Pokemon, let me get those.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that, though. I mean, you're saying you might not be the best person to ask that for, but I think that's a very real way to look at drafting. I think that's it's a very honest and play it by the seat of your pants kind of roll with the emotions style of drafting. I think a lot of people worry that you can't do it that way, and maybe they over prepare. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that answer at all.
And let's go for it.
Perfect. That's it. Nailed it.
Yeah.
Okay. Woo! Last question for you then, Frosted, and then I'll let you go. What should the fans be most excited to see from you this season?
Why was I not prepared for this one either?
I didn't give you the questions in advance.
That one you didn't, at least. That's a good question.
I think you're very charismatic. You're going to have your face cam on. People will be able to feel the full gamut of emotions with you, from never playing the game before to making masterful plays. They're going to get to see and feel the whole thing. What do you think?
That sounds just about right.
Love it.
Just be ready for the emotional roller coaster.
I think that's a reason that people watch YouTube. You know what I mean? If it was just flat affect and emotion the whole way through, calculated like that, maybe that's right for some people. But I think other people want to feel the emotion.
But sometimes you need to shake it up a little bit.
The highs and the lows. That's right.
Exactly.
All right. Well, Frosted, we really appreciate you finding the time to meet with me and do these interviews and really give the fans something to look forward to during this upcoming season. We will, of course, have you and your assistant coach's information in the description down below this video. But really appreciate you taking the time today, and we're looking forward to seeing you in the near future on the channel and on your own channel as well with the upcoming battles.
I'm excited too. I'm excited too. See you around.
Bye.